I think I know when Kendrick Lamar is gonna drop his next song, okay? Now, this is just a theory. I don't got no inside information or nothing. I'm just up here having fun, and I want y'all to have fun with me, all right? Now, two things we gotta understand. How Kendrick used to view death and reincarnation in his music. We're gonna do the same thing with Tupac. I think once we break that down and understand that, it'll be a lot easier to understand the theory in general. All right. Now, the first song I want to reference is High Power. Okay. Here we can see that Kendrick Lamar views himself as somebody that's gonna die eventually. Okay. Similar to Tupac. This is what Kendrick Lamar says. And I want everybody to view my autopsy so you can see exactly where the government has shot me. No conspiracy, my fate is inevitable. They play musical chairs once I'm on that pedestal. Okay? So clearly you see that he sees himself as somebody that has something to say, is looking to not hold his tongue. And because of that, he believes that he will be eliminated by the government later in his career. Okay, that's him speaking death into his reality. That's him speaking death into his future. Okay, somebody that's coming from the reality he's coming from, that's not surprising. All right, we fast forward to right before he has his debut album, which is the biggest moment in his career. Right, the first four lines in The Heart Part 3, right before Good Kid, Mad City comes out, is when the whole world see you as Pac reincarnated. That's enough pressure to live your whole life sedated. Find the tallest building in Vegas and jump off it. But I could never rewrite history in a coffin. So what he's saying here is the comparisons based on his skill set, his ability to talk about things that really go down, that are really happening in society and in his community. These are the things that are prompting people to compare him to Tupac. And he's saying that the pressure is enough for him to go to Vegas and jump off the tallest building. But if he were to do that, he wouldn't be able to rewrite history. Hold on to that rewrite history. Hold on to that. Okay? I need y'all to stay to the end of this video. I need y'all to stay to the end of this video. All right? Now, we all know with Tupac had an obsession with his death for good reason. He knew he was a Shakur, the lineage of the Black Panthers. He knew that he was going to be targeted from day one. They had been watching him since he was young, okay? There was no way he could really get out of this, and this was his personal view, though, okay? And when you have that view and it's that strong, you feel me? And the first thing I like to go to is this third verse in Hold Your Head, where he's essentially writing this like it's his last words. Like there's nothing that can be done about this, like reality can't shift, right? He says, God bless the child that can hold his own. Indeed, enemies bleed when I hold my crown. Let these words be the last to my unborn seeds. Hope to raise my young nation in this world of greed. Currency means nothing if you still ain't free. Money breeds jealousy. Take the game from me. I hope for better days. You see what I'm saying? And my aim is to spread more smiles than tears. Utilize lesson learned from my childhood years. Maybe mama had it all right. Rest your head. Trading conversations all night. Bless the dead. This sounds like somebody who was writing his final words on this earth, right? Solidifying that into writing, into songs, right? So we know that Tupac also was speaking death into his reality, right? And then this is the key that a lot of people don't talk about, and that's Tupac's song Reincarnation, right? That's the song that I don't think a lot of people have heard, and it's the song that a lot of people don't talk about. The first two lines are, my only fear of death is reincarnation. I use my last breath to reach the whole nation. So here he's saying the only reason I am afraid of death is that there's a possibility that I might have to come back to this earth. Okay? This is Tupac completely embedded in the idea of losing his life and the idea that he can't escape this. And there's nothing. As a matter of fact, there's an interview where a prominent figure of the Black Panther Party was talking to Tupac in jail, and Tupac was saying, like, Do I want to go out like Malcolm X or Tony Montana? He had already accepted that this is not, there's nothing he could do about this. Okay? Now, the key word here is my only fear of death. What's the opposite of fear? Love. Some of y'all know where I'm going with this, but let's have some fun, okay? Tupac was born on June 16th, 1971. Kendrick Lamar was born on June 17th, 1987. So naturally, this comparison between the two is just going to happen. The dude was born a day after Tupac. So of course, of course people are going to have this idea that he is the reincarnation of Tupac. The dude, like, it's a lot of different things that people are pointing to. You feel what I'm saying? And Kendrick Lamar recognizes this. Now, another thing I want y'all to recognize. Tupac was shot on September 7th. That's today. Okay, that's not today, but I'm dropping this tomorrow, so that's yesterday. September 7th, Tupac was shot. Ironically, we just had the blood moon. But anyway, okay. He didn't pass away until September 13th. Some of y'all know where I'm going with this, but let's stay on course. Let's have some fun because I got some more clues for y'all. All right. Tupac was shot September 7th. He died September 13th. Tupac died in the spirit of death. That's what I would like to believe, considering that even the music that came out after he passed away was highly centered around death. What's the opposite of death? Love. Y'all see where I'm going, but stay tuned. We move forward to Euphoria, right? This is after Mr. Morale came out. Now, what a lot of people don't understand, and as somebody who has gone through workshops, who is actually about to enter training to become somebody who is leading workshops, I've also given my own module called Because I Was Born Into This World, and it's about accepting the fact that you were born is the reason that you're special, right? And I say all that to say, when you go through these workshops and you go through therapy, you unlearn things, you release things that no longer serve you, limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. Believing that you're going to die no matter what is a limiting belief. Why? Because you're assuming and you are pretending that you know exactly what's going to happen in your life, when in reality, you don't. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or whatever, right? So knowing that and listening to songs listening to Mr. Morale. Matter of fact, let's get to Mr. Morale before we get to Euphoria. Let's go right to Savior, okay? This album is about Kendrick Lamar shedding all these limiting beliefs, all these ideas that he developed in survival, living where he used to live. And that's what happens when we live in these communities that are based in violence, that are based in really proximity of the people that look like you, right? It can shape the way you view the world, especially when you see death. Your own mortality is then seen as something that's like, damn, like I can go at any time. And this continues to bring the cycle of death into your mind. You play it over and over and over again. And you can see that in Kendrick Lamar's music, right? But one of the interesting things you hear on Mr. Morale, right, is this line. And a lot of people don't talk about it. Yeah, Tupac's dead. Gotta think for yourself. You think Kendrick Lamar was just talking to the people listening to the song? No, I believe Kendrick Lamar is using himself to talk to the audience. He, somewhere along the line, realized that Tupac can't give him the answers because he's not Tupac. Even when you go to Mr. Morale and he's literally looking for the answers through Tupac. Like, that's not a debatable theory. Like, this is based on the music that he's giving you. Immortal Man, right? And here, I think he realizes, no, like, there's a whole separate reality because I'm a whole separate human being and I got to think for myself. I don't know when he recognized this, but I think he used that to speak to all the people who might feel this same way, who might look at people who are celebrities, right, for the answers. Now, celebrity, there's people who use their platform to teach, to show. And if you understand, right, how to see it from that perspective, you can be able to learn these things from these celebrities, learn these things from these artists, but still recognize that they're not these deities, right? They're humans who are going through experiences, and Kendrick Lamar is one of those guys who is clearly being guided by God in his music, right? So I think this right here is extremely important. This represents the fact that whatever he was holding on to that is directly tied to Tupac, he's releasing that here and stepping further into Kendrick Lamar. This is what happens when you go to therapy. This is what happens when you do workshops. You release these things that have been holding you in shackles, right? This is what I believe that he was experiencing. I could be wrong. Like I said, it's just a theory. Then you move to Euphoria. Now, when you go through this, certain lines that stand out to you might not stand out to some people, right? And this line right here is very interesting. After years and years of rapping about dying for what he believes in, etc., Kendrick Lamar goes on to say, I ain't thinking about no reaper. I'm reaping what I sow, okay? The second I heard that was the second I knew, oh yeah, he about to put belt to ass. He about to beat the out of Drake. Because he has completely shifted into a different timeline by releasing the spirit of, or by releasing the tongue of death, right? He's shifting completely in a different timeline. He's not going into this like, oh, I'm going to die for standing up for this. I'm going to die for doing that. That's not what Kendrick Lamar is thinking, right? And that's easy to think when leaders of the past or people in the past have died for standing up for what they believe in. So when he said this, I knew, okay, he on a different timeline right now, right? So then we go to Reincarnated on GNX, right? And he literally uses a Tupac instrumental, Made Niggas. I remember, bro, quick random real quick. I remember exactly where I was when I first heard Reincarnated. Because I was listening, up until this album came out, I was binge listening to Tupac. For all y'all Tupac fans out there, I know y'all know what I feel. You have them seasons where you don't listen to nothing but Pac. Like, for maybe a month, it's just Tupac music. Because he got the bangers, he got the introspective stuff, he got the real stuff, the religious, not even just the religious stuff, but the gospel music. Like, he got all that. So you be listening to Tupac for a minute, right? Him getting on Made Niggas, which is a song which I was just listening to, when that beat came on, I was like, bruh. And the song's called Reincarnated. I was like, bruh. And then he used Tupac's flow patterns, and they were pretty damn good. This was a great representation of Tupac's flow, of Tupac's almost galloping flow patterns. Like, that's what and to use that to rap about being reincarnated as other people was fantastic, right? Fantastic. It was the thing you least expected. But we get another Tupac reincarnation reference after denouncing the tongue of death, right? Now, this brings me to the body snippet. How does the song start? Only thing matter right now is living right now, and I can't spare no feelings. What does that tell you? Presence. Living in this moment. Where have you heard Kendrick Lamar say that? The Apple Music interview. One of the main things he was trying to get across was, I just thought of another thing that I'm gonna tell y'all, but I didn't even put it down on here. So when he did the Apple Music interview, he was saying that. And I'm not surprised because he's reading the New World and stuff, right? And Eckhart Tolle and all this different stuff. We'll get into that different video. But his main message in that Apple Music interview was that presence is everything. And this is facts. This is truth. This is something that I learned. It's something that I had to continuously remind myself because you get out of those flows a lot, right? But the future, if you stuck in the future, it's anxiety. If you stuck in the past, it's depression. Those are the things that cause those emotions, right? So Kendrick Lamar recognizing only thing matter right now is living right now, and I can't spare no feelings. Meaning, I gotta live in the moment, in this moment now, which means these things that are coming up for me, these ideas that are coming up for me, I get to act on them immediately. Immediately. That's how you enter the flow state. That's how you enter where you're supposed to go. When you get in that present moment and you stay right there. That's where all your greatest ideas come from. The reason people don't stay in the present moment is because that's authenticity as well. And people are afraid of being themselves. They're afraid of the authenticity because people will call you this, they'll call you that, not realizing that people's opinions don't even fucking matter, because in a year from now they'll change. If the public opinion is you can't say the word the no more, everybody gonna get on you for saying the word the. So why are we worried about what people talking about, right? Only thing matter right now is living right now, and I can't spare no feelings. Then the verse starts. Reincarnated with love. My Gemini twin back powering up. No more handshakes and hugs. The energy only circulate through us. Everybody must be judged, but this time God only favoring us. Now watch this, bro. Okay? When I think about Tupac's game plan when he got out of prison, my perspective on that game plan was he wanted to remove Biggie, right? Because he's seen Biggie as somebody that was getting in the way of the unity in this idea of, in the unity of East and West, right? Or the unity in hip hop. He wanted to create the thug life idea. The hate you give little infants fucks everybody was supposed to be that until people perverted the idea. So then he wanted to kill that and move on to the idea of one nation. He believed that Biggie was in the way of that, right? Especially considering everything that went down at Quad Studios. So I think what he wanted to do, especially when you see that interview we had with Suge Knight, where he's talking about we want to create Death Row East, right? And bring what we did to the West to the East, so everybody can make money, everybody can do this other stuff. That was the idea of One Nation. Not only that, he was creating the album One Nation, and he had just pieced it up with Nas. We were going to get those collaborations and get those great minds to be working together to bring people together. That would have been beautiful if Pac got to live, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, when I hear the energy only circulate through us, everybody must be judged, but this time God only favoring us. And then I look at what Kendrick Lamar is doing, right? Move niggas up out of here. This should get gentrified. Getting rid of the people that he deems as the issue in the culture that's going to stop creating this unity base. You see him working with Pusha and Clips. You see him working with Roc Nation. You see him working with Playboy. And it's all these different styles, but they still in unison, if you become much more powerful. You see the imagery with Pharrell and boom, all these guys in Paris at the same time, and it's very interesting what they're doing. It seems like they're doing it behind the scenes, right? So I think the idea is to do the same thing that Tupac was about to do, right? But this is the part right here: reincarnated with love. What's the opposite of fear? Death. What's the opposite of love? Fear, right? And when you think about the opposite of love, my only fear of death is reincarnation. I think Kendrick Lamar is positioning himself, right, as the new version, and not just not saying the new version of Tupac, but what it looks like when love is the basis of the action, the basis of the message, the basis of the delivery, not death. And Tupac being centered in death, anxiety was really, you could hear it in his music. It was a lot of anxiety because he's stuck in the future. He's not in the present, and he's using the past to worry about the future. So he's not in the present. When he was in the present, he was creating, right? Which is probably why he created so much. You see what I'm saying? Reincarnated with love, my Gemini twin back powering up. It's September 8th. Tupac died on September 13th. Who's to say that deets dropping or bodies dropping isn't the initiation of the reincarnation? The coming back to earth, but this time, let's go back to the hard part 3. but I can never rewrite history in a coffin. What that mean? I can never rewrite history dead. He might not even knew what he was doing there, but there's a connection there. I hope y'all following me. I hope y'all hear me right now, because I'm pretty sure y'all do. Because that's why y'all be over here. Y'all already know all this stuff. Y'all know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying, okay? But think about it. Reincarnated with Love, my Gemini twin back powering up, dropping the most anticipated song yet to move into a new era, right? It just makes sense. On the day that Tupac passes, matter of fact, let's hold on, stay with me. Let's look at what day does September 13th fall on? A Saturday. Okay, I don't got nothing there. But who's to say, a Friday drop going into the third? Who knows? Whatever. Anyway, so Reincarnated with Love, the rebirth, the new version, the love version, right? And of course, Tupac. I think Tupac's music was full of love. That's why people love it so much. But when it came to himself, it was a lot of death. I think Deets drops September 13th to initiate the idea of the reincarnation and rewriting the story, right? Rewriting the story. And think about how often Kendrick Lamar talks about rewriting the story. Even on the song Reincarnated, I rewrote the devil's story just to take our power back. Okay? I'm just saying. I rewrote the devil's story just to take our power back. I think Deets dropped September 13th as the initiation of the reincarnation of Tupac. Just the idea, right? Just to be artistic. I don't think he's literally saying he's a reincarnation of Tupac, but doing it this way, through love, through not broadcasting or boom boom boom, but doing it in silence. Not boom, boom. You see what I'm saying? I genuinely think that's where he's getting at. And if he drops it on the day that Tupac died, I think the message is just incredibly powerful. Now, am I going to be wrong? Probably. I probably am wrong. Like, that's just what it is. I've been able to guess a lot of things, okay? My theories and stuff, I don't do this in just the hip hop. I do it in anime too, like on my anime content. I do theories for Boruto and all that all the time, and I'll be right with the Boruto theories. I'll be right when I'm making theories about anime pretty often, right? But I can never guess Kendrick Lamar's moves, so don't take what I'm saying as gospel. This is just me loving the art form, me nerding out, me like constantly just looking for, you know what I'm saying, just enjoying this experience of life and putting pieces together and trying to find that one universal truth, right? Reincarnated with Love, my Gemini twin back powering up. Let me continue the story. Let me continue what Tupac couldn't continue. That's just what I'm getting at, okay? I think Deets drops September 13th. Is it too predictable? Absolutely, and that's probably why he won't do it. However, you can't lie. This is pretty solid, bro. Pretty solid, bro. Okay? We gonna see on September 13th. I could be wrong, so don't take it as gospel. Just have fun with what I'm saying. Regardless, I think Kendrick is dropping pretty damn soon. Okay? But anyway, that was fun as fuck. Two of my favorite artists of all time. I'm talking about one of the main reasons I really was pulled in by Kendrick Lamar was because of his respect for Tupac. Like, that's reality. Like, one of the reasons I was pulled in by Kendrick was because of his respect for Tupac. And if you were a Tupac fan, you probably feel the same way. You see what I'm saying? It feel like him telling him, just like Tupac say Immortal Man, these songs are just telling the stories of our dead homies, right? And Kendrick Lamar is keeping that legacy alive. One of the reasons he turned up when Drake disrespected Pac. Give me Tupac ring back and I might give you a little respect. Kendrick Lamar respects the legacy of the people who laid the foundation for this art form. And it don't even matter just this art form. I think Kendrick Lamar does that for the music. You see what I'm saying? Music in general. You feel what I'm saying? All the greats. So, yeah, that's my theory. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the goddamn comments, all right? Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to catch y'all, man. Y'all have a good day.